न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः।
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Dhyayamodhavala Vakunthanavatim Tejomayam Nashtikim Digdhapangavilokinim Bhagavatim Mandasmita Srimukhim Valsalyamritavarshinim Sumuduram Sankirtanalapinim Shamangim Atatikta Suktim Amritanandamayi Om Gum Gurubhyo Namaha Amritageetananda Namaha Om Gam Ganapate Namaha Mahasaraswati Namaha Om. My infinite prostrations at the lotus feet of my Sadguru, Sri Mata Amritanandamayi Devi, Universal Teacher, Universal Mother, my humble pranams to all of us beloved children watching this program. This week's main topic will be Guru Purnima, which falls on the 21st of July, that is next Sunday. So over the past few years, we have been explaining Guru Purnima in detail. So I think again, we need not repeat all that we have covered in the previous years. But briefly, I will explain what is Guru Purnima. We had two words, which is Guru and Purnima. Guru means a teacher. From the LKG up to PhD, we have different levels of teachers. They are all in our tradition. We call them gurus. One guru is one who imparts knowledge from at all levels. And Purnima is the full moon, which denotes the nature of the guru. The nature of the Sadguru is he is not just an individual. His experience that he is everything. He sees the entire cosmos inside himself. That's why we call the Guru Purnima. And the Guru say that when we go to the Guru and we ask for knowledge or any other worldly gains, the Guru will tell us, the Guru will teach us that in every one of us have the same nature. We are all infinite by nature, and that is the main teaching. So we celebrate Vyasa, sage Vyasa's birthday as Guru Purnima. It is called Guru Purnima or Vyasa Purnima or Vyasa Jayanti. So why do we consider the Vyasa is considered as the universal Guru, Vishwa Guru? That is because we had discussed one or two last episodes that we said Namostate Vyasa Vishala Buddhe, who is very broad-minded and whose vision is also very broad vision. That means he sees the entire cosmos as the manifestation of the Supreme Being. That is called Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. So he knew that in the Kali Yuga, in the stage of materialism, the Vedas are very vast. If you study the entire lifetime, we cannot study the entire Vedas. Now, mainly because in Kali Yuga, our lifespan, the human lifespan is becoming shorter and shorter. So it is difficult. Vyasa Bhagavan knew that in the stage of Kali, human beings cannot study the entire Vedas, and that's not required also. If you study the essence of the Veda, that is more than enough. So in his compassion, he classified, that is called Vyasa. He compiled this vast Vedas into four, which we know this very well: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharveda, and he taught these four Vedas to his four main disciples, Paila, Vaishampayana, Jaimini and Sumantra. That's what he has done. And moreover, he knew that the Vedas are very difficult because the logic, the content of the Vedas cannot be understood by the common man, and therefore Vyasa was kind enough to compose the 18 Puranas. And the Puranas are nothing but the same Vedas in story form, and these Puranas he taught to his disciple Romaharshana. So this much the Vyasa has done out of his compassion and kindness. And we know where we should remember that Vyasa Bhagavan's greatest contribution is the sacred Bhagavad Gita, the song divine which came out of Bhagavan Krishna, which is teaching to Arjuna. The Arjuna represents all of us. We have a lot of confusions, and therefore that teaching is meant for every one of us. If you study the Bhagavad Gita thoroughly and understand it thoroughly and apply those teachings in our day-to-day life, then our life will be a life of joy, peace and happiness. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita considers as a very holy scripture. It contains the essence of the Vedas. Now, Vyasa is not a person, it is a title. We say Shankaracharya of Shingari, Shankaracharya of Kanchi, etc. So he's a title. Our Vyasa's name is Krishna Dvaipayana. So therefore, the word Krishna means one who is dark in color, and Dvaipayana means one who was born on Dweep or island. So he is Krishna Dvaipayana because he is dark in color and he was born on an island. Now if we compare, Krishna also means Akarshanat Krishna, one who is very attractive. So the attraction is not the physical attraction. Because of the deep spiritual knowledge, we can see when we go to Amma, we are attracted to Amma not because of her physical beauty. There is something we can see that the peace and joy when we see her, that attracts us towards Amma. So we can see Amma is also Krishna in dark in color, and she is also Dvaipayana. She also was born on an island. And one of our acharyas gave a very, very beautiful interpretation. It is, the acharya says, a sadhaka, a spiritual aspirant. A spiritual aspirant should have these qualities. What is the quality? He should have purity of mind, calmness of mind, concentration, intelligence. This is the quality of a Brahmin is one, a true Brahmin is one who have these qualities of intelligence, calmness of mind, purity, compassion, concentration, etc. These are required when we go to a guru. And then this other part is a spiritual aspirant should be he should be very daring by nature. Nayam Atma balahinena labhyaha. Na ayam Atma balahinena labhyaha. This Atma cannot be gained by one who has no courage. So you can see fishermen, they deep into the sea. They are very courageous, adventurous by nature. Therefore, the sadhaka should have the intelligence of a Brahmin and the courage and daring of a fisherman. These two qualities Vyasa has, and therefore this is what we should also have. And we can see, the Vyasa's father was Parashara, a Brahmin, and we know Vyasa Bhagavan's, I call him Vyasa Bhagavan because he is an incarnation of Mahavishnu. So Vyasa's mother was a fisherwoman. Father was Brahmin and mother was fisherwoman. And in Amma we can see just the opposite. Amma's father was a fisherman, Sugunachan. Sugunachan and Amma's mother, Damayanti, she was so pious. She was so pious that the local people used to call her Pattati Amma. Pattati Amma means a Brahmin lady. And therefore, Amma's father was a fisherman and the mother, the Pattati Amma, therefore, she also had all these qualities which we have to learn these qualities from Amma. Only then we call ourselves Amma's children. So when Amma calls us children, she looks at us and she sees the spark of divinity in every one of us. It's not just not affection. She knows the aware of the divine spark in her, and she sees the divine spark in each one of us, and seeing that we are all one, the all manifestation of the divine being, she calls us Makkale, children. And therefore, we also should try to know our real nature. Only then can we claim to be children of Amma. So now we come briefly. We will see what is the Vedas. The Vedas, the Mundaka Upanishad says that there are two levels of knowledge. We don't say inferior. We don't say that the graduation is inferior and post graduation is the superior. There's no inferior superiority. It's just levels of lower level and higher level. So a postgraduate, once upon a time, he was a graduate. And a graduate, another 2 years he'll become postgraduate. There is no inferiority or superiority here. There is only two levels of knowledge. In the same way, in the Vedas also, there are two levels of knowledge. It says, Dve vidye veditavye iti hasma yad brahmavyo vido vadanti paracheva aparacha. The Mundaka Upanishad says that there are two levels of knowledge. The Vedas say that there are two levels of knowledge. It says apara means the lower knowledge, and para is the higher knowledge. The apara knowledge means all the worldly knowledge. Whatever we have learned in our schools and our college and in PhD and much more, every branch of science, geography, history, everything is contained in the Vedas. That we have to understand. And therefore, they are all called lower knowledge. Whatever we experience with our sense organs, the mind and the sense organs, whatever our sense organs, the mind through the sense organs, we perceive the outer world, and whatever we perceive the outer world, including our body and mind, they are all the knowledge of all these objects. They are called the lower knowledge. It's called lower knowledge because it has a beginning and an end. And therefore, they are called lower knowledge. The lower knowledge cannot give us the absolute peace and joy. Then they say, Atha paracheva yad aksharam adigamyate. Now we come to the higher knowledge. Atha paracheva yad aksharam adigamyate. Aksharam, it's called the higher knowledge is called aksharam. We know aksharam means alphabets. That's one meaning which we commonly know. Aksharam, in any language, the alphabets are called aksharam. But when the Guru says aksharam, the ksharam means that which will be destroyed. Whereas aksharam means which is indestructible. And therefore, the Chaitanyam in each one of us, the Atma in each one of us, it is indestructible. And the body and the mind, it is subject to change. Whereas the Aksharam, the Atma, it is never subject to change. And that's why we call it Aksharam. For that we need a Sadguru. Sadguru is needed. So now we can see is usually we hear that the mukti or liberation or salvation, we say in our common language, salvation or the liberation, they say it is after we die, we go to heaven or we go to hell, and there up there is a heaven, and somewhere there is hell also. And when we go to heaven, that is called salvation. When we perform good actions, we will go to heaven. If we perform bad actions, we will go to eternal hell. That is not what our Shastras say. Our Shastras say it is true that there is heaven and hell, but heaven and hell, they are both impermanent. What is permanent is, they say Jivan Mukti, even while we are living in this body, we get liberation. That is why we need a Sadguru like Amma. So it says, Satsangatve Nisangatvam, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. So that word is Jivan Mukti. That is, we will be liberated even while we are in this life, while living this body. So how does it start? So I remember when I was small, we used to chant this verse without knowing the meaning. Satsangatve Nisangatvam, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. This we used to chant when we was small. Our elders used to chant and we used to chant with them. We go to the place of worship during bhajans. We used to sing this without knowing the meaning. Now we know how deep is the meaning. So the verse it says, Satsanga, the company of the Sat Sangha. Sat means that which is changeless. So whatever is subject to change is impermanent. What we want is the permanent Atma, changeless Atma, that is called the Sat, which is Sat. Truth means that which is which remains unchanged in the three periods of time, in the past, in the present, and the future. The Sat remains unchanged in the three periods of time. That's what we call as the Sat. That's called the Atma, the imperishable of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. It is conscious by nature, and it is the infinite peace and joy by nature. That is what we call as Satsang. So Satsang means the beginnings, the literal meaning of the word Satsang is the company of the holy men. You see that when we go to Amma, we can see many of the devotees they have said that. When we come to Amma, we feel some kind of peace and joy which we have never seen before, we have never experienced before. So that is what we call it Satsang. So the highest knowledge which the Guru can tell us is what can cause the real bondage. The Guru says it begins with, as long as I think I am this body and mind, these are both subject to change. So long I will not experience infinite joy, because the body goes on changing. What I want is permanent happiness. And how can I get permanent happiness from the impermanent body and mind? And therefore, they will tell us, in their presence, we'll experience peace and joy. Then therefore, slowly they will make us understand. The Guru will tell the Shishya, "O disciple, O Shishya," he will use the word Soumya, "O dear one." Tata, son, he says, "O son, O Tata, you are not this body and mind. You are not this body and mind. You are the permanent Atma which is within. And therefore, what happens? Satsangatve Nisangatvam. So Nisangatvam means detachment. This is the number one. When we are detached, then we can see that we are not disturbed by anything. One or two examples I can see. A person is standing on his balcony, and he is in the street. He say two boys arguing, and then finally start fighting. So he thinks that one of them is his son. He thinks that one of his son. When he thinks that one of them is his son, he becomes agitated. Oh my God, my son is getting hurt. When he realizes that person is not his son, then what happens? That agitation is completely gone. Or we can say one or two more examples. A person, he has a house. So he sells the house. He has lived in his house for about 15 or 20 years. Then he sells the house. And he sells the house, and after a few weeks, he hears that house has caught fire. That house has got fire. So now he is not at all bothered, because now it is no longer my house. If it had caught fire 1 month back, he would have been very, very sad, because that 1 month back, that was my house. So he would have been very, very sad. Now it is no longer my house, therefore he does not feel sad at all. Therefore, what is my relationship with the object, that decides the peace and joy. And therefore, the moment Guru tells me, I am not this body, I am the Atma, I become detached. You can see how when detachment, when we are detached, we do not feel any kind of sorrow. Or we can say, in your common example, when you say, when Australia and England, when they are playing cricket, we are detached. We are not bothered who is going to win, because Australia and there are two other countries. So we are very happily watching without any kind of reaction. If Australia wins, wonderful. If England wins, wonderful. I am not bothered, because they're two different countries. Now tomorrow I see, so the Australia wins, example, Australia wins. Now, next day, Australia and India are playing. Now I am concerned. Now I am concerned, because I have an identification that India should win. You see the attachment. When I am detached, when Australia and England was playing, I was totally detached. I have no problem at all. Like the sun which illumines everything, but he is not. When a marriage party goes, the sun is not happy. Or when a cremation party goes, the sun doesn't feel sad. He just illumines everything. In the same way, the detached person, when I know I am not this body, but the Atma, then I see everything with a detached attitude. When I am detached, then what happens? Nisangatve nirmohatvam. When I know that I am not this body, then I have no more desires. Nirmohat. Moha means confusion and desire. So these desires are all gone. As when I am not the body, we can see great saints. When their bodies are tortured, they do not react, because they know that for them the body is like a dress. So the great saints, they say you're touching the Bhagat Singh. Forget about saying Bhagat Singh is that you're torturing my body. You cannot touch me. So that's what they say. They are completely withdrawn, and therefore nisangatve nirmohatvam. There is totally no more desires, and there is nirmohatvam. Then what happens? That nischalatatvam. It is when there are no more desires, my mind becomes peaceful. The more the number of thoughts, the more agitation, the more disturbed we are. The lesser the number of thoughts, the less we are agitated, and therefore nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. So when my mind becomes totally calm and quiet, in that calmness of mind, I am able to realize my real nature of the deathless Atma. That's just what we can see. So in our day-to-day life also, I'll give you just one example. When we are speaking to young students, you can in future you may be managers, or you can be you can be one of the top men in any field. So you can see a top singer or a top the cricket batsman. So when we had because we have attachment. Then when I'm not able to score a century, I become very sad. So when you take the cricket as a game, you're detached. So what does it matter if I win or lose? It's a game. So that's called as detachment. So one beautiful example you can see now, as I've already said, when we hear two men arguing, we are detached because they are two. I have nothing to do with both of them. I am just watching their argument, listening to the argument, and this logic. It's also logical. It's logical. Finally, I can understand what this person said is right. So with detachment, I can watch them. Right. So now what happens is that when my son and another person is arguing, my mind goes to my son. There is attachment. Then I feel this. When my son is losing, I feel sad. When my son is the gaining, I am very happy. So in real detachment, what happens is that now the guru's greatness is that when I am arguing with another person, then this is I and that person is different. Whereas a real spiritual person, a real matured person, he can be very detached. He will never say myself and he. He will say this person and that person. And he will be very detached. If I think that he is right, I will say, yeah, I agree with you. My ego is so strong that even though I know that he is right, I will never admit that he is right. My ego is the greatest problem. The cause of all problems is my ego. Even though I know that he is right, I will not agree with it. So what happens that then in detachment, I see this person is arguing with that person. So whatever I say, I am detached. I listen to both, and finally I think that yes, I agree that you are right. One beautiful example I can tell you, the example of the late President, the Abraham Lincoln, the President of United States of America. There is a beautiful, very wonderful incident in his life. You know that about 100 years ago, there was a war between North America and South America. South America was supporting slavery, whereas North America was against slavery. North America said that slavery is wrong, it should be abolished, whereas South America said no, we will continue slavery. And therefore, there was a war between North America and South America 100 years back. North America was commanded by the then President Abraham Lincoln, and the South America was commanded by General Robert Lee. And finally, the South America lost. So South America lost, North America won, and the slavery was abolished. So the important part is that during the war in North America, the war secretary, his name was Stanton. He was a very wonderful administrator, brilliant person. You know, the war in a war, it's not enough that you have so many trained soldiers, so many the war tanks, aeroplanes, warships. That's enough. Most important is strategy. Our Indians, our army, navy, and the Air Force, their strategy, they are brilliant. Not only they are physically strong, now we have very, very brilliant planning, strategy. They say nobody can beat India in strategy. So our Stanton was one such person. So unfortunately, what happened was that in Stanton's absence, Abraham Lincoln transferred one big battalion from one place to another place. So Stanton came to know about this. Stanton, Stanton, the War Secretary of America. Stanton came to know that the Abraham Lincoln has transferred a big battalion from this place to another place. Stanton said, "My God, this Abraham Lincoln is a fool. He's a blunder. What he made is a fatal mistake." And Abraham Lincoln was very fond of Stanton, and therefore there were many who were jealous of Stanton. So they ran to Abraham Lincoln and said, "Sir, you know, the Stanton has called you a fool. Stanton has called you a fool." Abraham Lincoln thought for a while and then said, "Stanton called me a fool. Okay, if Stanton called me a fool, then I must be a fool." Can you see that? If Stanton has called me a fool, then I must be a fool because he is extra brilliant. See, it's called detachment. How dare he call me a fool? I am a president. He's only a general or secretary. Can you understand? That kind of detachment. Who is right? If I think that person is right, I have the purity of mind and detachment. That is the real training of the Guru. What is good for the world, that alone I have in mind. What is good for the society, what is good for our country, what is good for the entire world. That kind of training we receive from our Sadguru, and that is what we call as the Atma-jnana or Jivan Mukti. So we are very fortunate to have a Sadguru like Amma who has trained us in such a way that we are very detached, we are very selfless, we think more about giving and less about taking. So let us surrender to Amma. Let us pray to Amma to make us pure and give all the qualities necessary for a spiritual, for the growth of the spiritual life. Not only in spiritual life, when we have a pure mind, calm mind, then we can progress in material life also. So let us pray to Amma to give all those great qualities. I surrender these words to Amma. Om Lokaha Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Na guroradhikam tattvam na guroradhikam tapa